Hi everyone, I'm Misper. Welcome back to another video. So we're in December now and I thought I would share with you some festive videos, and I'll start this week by sharing a really easy way of getting a festive smell in your kitchen using just natural ingredients that you'll have in your cupboards. So let's get started. The first recipe is for a simmering stove pot, and you use any citrus fruit that you like. I'm using lemons and oranges. Slice them so they are 1/2 centimetre in thickness, and then you add your spices. I'm going to use cinnamon. You can use cloves or any spices that you like. Use the whole spices but not the powder, because that will just make a sludgy mess in your pan. I'm also going to use rosemary that I've picked from the garden because I really love the smell of that. So here are my ingredients. I've put a chilli in as well. Add to a saucepan and just cover the ingredients with a little bit of water and then simmer on very low heat. You'll get this lovely smell in the kitchen and it will last for a few days, but remember to keep topping up the water. So the second recipe is to dry the fruit. So again, slice 1/2 centimetre thick, pat dry with a kitchen towel, and then put it into the microwave for 10 minutes on defrost. So after 10 minutes in the microwave, they are starting to dry, they're starting to dehydrate, but they're still moist. And what you can do then is put them on a paper towel and place them on top of your radiators. And again, you get this lovely smell permeating in the room. And after a few days, they will be dry. So they'll feel quite brittle then and they'll dry nicely. So I'll just move the camera over so I can show you. Lemon here that I've actually pressed too much. So a little bit's ripped, but it'll still dry nicely. And this is the orange when it came out of the microwave, and then here are some orange pieces after they've been drying on the radiator, and these are a couple of pieces of lime as well. So any citrus fruit will work. And then a really easy homemade gift is to take a glass jar and to just add some dried fruit and then a couple of cinnamon sticks. And then I always add a chilli just for the colour really, because it just looks so festive. You can add cranberries, anything you like. And then I always think rosemary as well, again because I like the contrast of the green colour in there and for the lovely scent as well. And then that is just a very easy festive jar that you can make. So this week's book review is The Christmas Mouse by Miss Reed. I've also listened to No Holly for Miss Quinn on Audible, and that's by Miss Reed, and I recommend that as well. They're both really short, they're very thin books, very short books, and very easy to read. And this one is about 3 generations of women. So there is the grandma, Mrs. Berry, and she's a widow. And then she has a daughter who's been tragically widowed young, and the daughter's been left with 2 little girls. And so you have these 3 generations, and the little girls are really excited for the build-up to Christmas. So the story takes place on Christmas Eve and then Christmas Day. And what I really enjoyed about the book was that it was written in the 1970s, but it's about life that was very old-fashioned and much simpler. So for example, there are only 2 buses a week that go into the town, and they don't have a television, they don't have a telephone at home, and so they have to be really self-reliant. and organise themselves so that they can cope. And they have very little money to spend at Christmas, but they still want to have a happy Christmas, especially for the girls. And so they take real care in how they spend their money. So, for example, the daughter buys her mother a plant for her Christmas present, and she agonises over whether she should buy a cyclamen, which is more expensive, or a heather, which is a bit cheaper but not as nice. And so it's just such a simpler life, but there is a real warmth and affection in the family. The story is basically how the grandma, Mrs. Berry, is frightened by a mouse on Christmas Eve, and so she daren't go to sleep in her bedroom. She comes down to sit by the fire, and then she's disturbed by a little boy who has run away from home, and he's very unhappy. And so she takes him in and speaks to him on Christmas Eve. And it's a really simple story, but it's so charming, and it will just give you a really warm feeling. So that's the book recommendation. It's The Christmas Mouse by Miss Reed, and I also really recommend No Holly for Miss Quinn by Miss Reed as well. So it's the next day, and today I'm going for a walk to Styal Mill, and I'll share with you the mill owner's house and how it's decorated for Christmas. It's a Georgian house, and the owners were very religious people, and they like to keep their decorations very plain and simple. They were not ostentatious, but I still think it'll be interesting to see the house. And then when I come back, I'm going to use the dried fruit that I've shown you and use it to decorate a wreath. So I hope you enjoy looking at the house, and I'll see you in a bit. So welcome back. Now I'm going to finish my video by sharing with you a really simple wreath decoration. So this is the frame of the wreath that I've used in the past for making an autumn wreath, and I've cut some foliage from the garden, and then I've got my dried fruit, my cinnamon sticks, and the only thing I've actually had to buy is some wire from the garden centre. I think this was a couple of pounds from the garden centre, and I'm going to do a very simple traditional wreath decoration. So this is the wreath. I've just pushed the green foliage in and then attached the dried fruit and the cinnamon sticks with wire. You could go on and put berries or pine cones on there as well. I really like the way that if you hang it indoors, you get that lovely Christmassy scent coming through. It was really easy to do and very therapeutic. So thanks for watching this week's video. I hope you got something from it, and I'll see you next time.